This Purdue versus Valpo game was possibly the worst college basketball game I've ever watched or coded. So if you haven't watched it, I wouldn't. And just to go through some stats to reflect that statement, here we've got 53 fouls between the two teams, 27 turnovers, 18 of which came from Valpo. And then you've got the shooting percentages at 35.2 and 41.3. Now, if you look at the shot charts here, we've got from catch and shoot threes, we've got Purdue going 1 for 5 from uncontested shots, and then 4 of 14 from contested catch and shoot threes. Then when you look at Valpo's numbers, they're not really that much better. We've got 0 from 6 uncontested catch and shoot threes, and then 6 of 14 from contested catch and shoot threes. So that's actually quite good, 42.9%, though it is. So, for a contested percentage, that's really good, but uncontested 0 for 6 is not great. And that kind of reflected the entire game. It was very stop and start, very sloppy. I mean, Ohio State had 37 free throws, so that kind of tells you the whole thing. Now, if we look at the game script, this is Ohio State's, not Ohio State, this is Purdue's offensive game script, so every one of their offensive possessions. And if we look at the first 15 possessions, we've got, made shot, that's good. Then we've got foul, foul, free throw, miss shot, miss shot, miss shot, miss shot, foul, miss shot, foul, miss shot, turnover, miss shot, foul. Now, obviously, if you're Purdue, you like fouls because that means you're going to get some free throws later on. But for the observer, it's pretty painful to watch. Now, when you go to defense, so all of Valpo's offensive possessions, they start off pretty good. Some made shots, made threes, made twos. Even here in the start of the second quarter, it's when you get into the entire picture of the first half, you see the real problem where it's turnover, 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 and then it's half time. So that's all those turnovers in the first half, and that's kind of how Valpo lost this game. The other thing I want to talk about is essentially Purdue's situation at centre. So Purdue's always won with their winning formula under Coach Painter of a really dominant shooter, so Stevanovic or Dakota Mathias or Carson Edwards, really strong defense, and then a really good centre, whether that be Matt Harms or Isaac Haas, or in this case, Williams and this new freshman, Ed, or Ed. I don't know how to pronounce that. We'll go with Ed. Now, Williams is quite good, though. I don't think his shooting shot choice is the greatest. He sometimes makes really bad floaters or some mid-range shots, and they're always contested. It's not always the greatest shot choice. But he's really good in the terms of defense, that he can move laterally. He's a strong rebounder. The new freshman, however, he's had a few strong games. Just looking at the stats, they were against weaker competition. The game against Clemson, he was really good, and I haven't watched that game, but that might be an outlier, or this might be an outlier, because he was really, really bad in this one. He really missed really wide open 2-point shots. If we just click these 2-point attempts, we might just get an example of what I mean. So this is an example of a missed a day shot. You've got to get those. But the problem is also on defense. He was predictably picked on by the opposition in terms of around the perimeter. Purdue tries to keep him in the paint, but then they got 4-on-5 against the perimeter, and he gets into some real problems. So if we come into the matrix, where's the review? There it is. So I've just got 3 clips here, kind of demonstrate what I mean. And this is predictable. When you're that tall and that slow laterally, you're going to be picked on defense. So here we've got Valpo spreading the floor. So you've got kind of all 5 guys except for one guy near the paint around the perimeter, and then Ade is obviously in the paint. They try and keep him there. The problem is when he goes out onto the perimeter, he gets into some real problems. So this guy just goes right past him and gets the layup. Second half. Drive and kick. Goes out to find the open man. Again, can go right past him, causing a foul. Final one. Again, you're right. He's out on the perimeter, which is always going to be a problem. Again, he's out on the perimeter. You kind of got someone backing down, but he's going to spread the floor and leave. Goes right past him. No lateral mobility and a layup. So that's kind of the problem when you're Ade. You've got the entire offense on your back when you're on the court, but then you're missing wide open layups. And then when you're on defense, you're getting predictably picked on and getting eaten alive. And that's kind of the problem as well when you look at the advanced stats. He was only +2 But, that's not as good as compared to his other teammates, especially Williams, the other centre, who was +6. The other problem with Ade is that he's not actually that strong of a rebounder for being that tall, at least in this game, and that when you look at his total rebound percentage, he was only at 5%, whereas Williams is at 19.6. Williams is also a really good passer. If you look at the basic stats, he only just got 2 assists, but that kind of doesn't reflect how well his passing was, especially on missed shots. Whereas Ade didn't have any assists, and it didn't look like he was ever going to make an assist. So, also he was -4 in rebound +-, which is never a good sign, whereas Williams was +4. So those are just kind of my initial observations of this game. Really bad game, and also worrying if you're a Purdue, though he's only a freshman, that Ade might be an issue on defense throughout the season. Thank you very much, and hope you learned something.